Three, two, one, say, sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Everybody be asking my last pod, my last. I'm super sick of this business. My family missing me, nigga. The whoop is bullet repellent, but they gon' kill me with tax. Niggas really on clout. They ain't checking the stacks. Who a decorative better give niggas decorative raps? Respect is the order. Hate me better do it loud. Root for everybody black. Hater say that's crazy. Hey yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I am your host, Eric Curry III. Welcome. I'm sorry if this seems like a low energy pod. It's because it is. It is currently 12:06 in the morning. I am recording this on Sunday morning, technically. Eric, why are you recording the pod so late? You usually don't record the pod so late. I had to go to my homie's house. Shout out Mickey. I had to go to his crib, pick up some clothes for this photo shoot that I have to do today. Because the aesthetic of the photo shoot, I don't have clothes that fit that aesthetic. So I had to pick up some clothes from him real quick, and I'm gonna use his clothes for the photo shoot, and that's that. So that's why I'm recording so late. And I was just over there, and we was just catching up and talking. And I haven't seen Mickey in about like 2 months, right? The last time I seen Mickey was at the Cole show, and I know y'all like, what y'all had to catch up on. It's a lot, man. Like, you know, a lot of things happen in 2 months. Who knows? But I'm glad y'all doing good. This is gonna be me. I'm gonna try my best to be as quiet as possible recording this. Just to, you know, be mindful of my neighbors, be mindful of just, you know, the people that are living around me, not with me, because nobody's living with me, but the people that are living around me, just because, you know, I understand it being late, and I can get loud, and I yell, and I get excited. But if I just so happen to yell and get excited at some of these topics that we're going to touch on today, then hey, so be it. It is what it is. If this is your first time watching the Arts Block Podcast, hello. This is like the ASMR version of the Arts Block Podcast. It might get loud and you're going to be like, dang, this is the ASMR version? Yes. Listen to the last episode of the podcast, and you're going to understand what I mean when I say that this is like the ASMR, me whispering version of the podcast. This is what this is. So if this is your first time watching the Arts Block Podcast, hello. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. That is on YouTube. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. Most importantly, don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I just looked at the analytics today, and the podcast platforms have been killing it. YouTube, y'all need to step it up. The YouTube watchers, YouTube subscribers, y'all need to step it up. Y'all need to lock in, because the podcast platforms have been killing. They've been killing y'all. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. That is love. That is love. That is love. All right, what are we talking about today? So we got a couple of things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to touch on a house life. I think that's how I'm going to start all of these individual pods. We're going to touch on a house life, just where I'm at, being transparent, things that I've done. Then one thing that I do want to talk about heavily, that's super heavy on my heart, right, is this TDE allegation, right? This TDE sexual harassment allegation, which is, with the summer that TDE just had, is crazy to put TDE and sexual allegations in the same like realm or capacity and wording. But hey, like, you never know. No one, like, no company, no person is ever safe. So you never know. Yeah, let's just jump straight into it. First thing on the docket, how's life, man? Life has been crazy. Like, life has been crazy in a good way. Like, so remember last pod I was telling y'all that I was getting ready to do a podcast interview. Well, I did the podcast interview, and the podcast turned out really well. The end product doesn't come out until later on in the year, but I was very excited about how the initial conversation went. I'm just so excited about how the podcast conversation went on mic, and I feel like y'all are going to be surprised. Y'all going to be shocked. Y'all going to see a different type of side from me. More like, I don't know, y'all just going to see a different, it's going to be the same me but a different me, a version of me that you guys don't get to see very often, a lot, very cautious, very aware of the wording that I choose, very, you know, a lot of the different things, right? Yeah, it was a very fun time. Also, we are building the team of the Arts Block Podcast. We are building the team slowly but surely, but the team is being built. Also, I might be close to finding a barber and braider in New York City. And if I do find a barber and a braider in New York City, then there will be no reason for me to come back home to DC. I am this close. I feel like I'm close. I feel like I'm close. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm close though. Lastly, before we get into the huge topics of house life, that this is just the short things before we get into the bigger topics of house life, before we jump into that, I just want to give my condolences and my rest in pieces. And no, that sounded terrible. My rest in pieces, that sounded awful. Jesus, that's how you know it's late. I really shouldn't be recording a pod, but I need to get it out to y'all. Y'all need to get this. Y'all need to get this. I really shouldn't be recording. I should be asleep. Rest in pieces. Come on, Eric. You can do better than that. You can. I send out my prayers, thoughts, and condolences to all of the victims, all of the families, all of the people who were impacted by the recent plane crashes that happened in DC and also Philly. The DC one, the one that happened at Reagan International DCA, that one hit close to home. Well, it literally did hit home, but it hit close to home for me because DCA is home and I fly in and out of DCA often, right? I fly in and out of DCA often enough to know that that could have been me. Or I have family members that fly in and out of DCA often enough to know that that could have been one of my family members, right? That could have been anybody. That could have been one of my friends. So I say that to say, man, make sure you check up on your people. Make sure you love on your people, right? Because I don't think there were any survivors, to my knowledge. There weren't any survivors on that plane crash. So make sure you check up on your loved ones. Make sure you check up on your family. Make sure you check up on the people that, even the people that you might not check up on, all the time. Make sure you just check up on them once in a while just to see how they're doing, just to see where they are mentally, right? Because you never know. You never know when the last day is coming. You never know when your last day is coming. You never know when their last day is coming. So just make sure we love on each other while we are here. We cherish each other while we are here. Like all I can think about is how many I'm safe. I landed because the accident in DCA happened on the descent, right? It happened as the plane was landing. So I can only imagine how many texts were sent like I got back safe, or like I'm landing now, or like, you know, hey, like come pick me up. I'm landing, right? Like how many of those texts probably went through just for the other person to hear nothing back, or the plane crash. And it's just a lot, right? And my thoughts, prayers, condolences go out to all the families who have been impacted, especially by the one in DCA. But the one in Philly was crazy because that actually hit houses. Like those hit people's homes, and I think 6 were reported dead so far. uh and from what I've seen, I believe 6 were reported dead or 6 were injured or something like that. And I seen videos of that one, and that one was crazy because I don't even know how to describe it, because it was a plane crash, but it wasn't like a commercial flight. So the one in DCA, that was a commercial flight. This one that happened in Philly, I don't think that was a commercial flight. I think that was like a plane, right? Um, and yeah, it just like fell out of the air, and like I think the guy jumped out. I think the pilot jumped out because I seen like the little parachute thing fall down in one of the videos. I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe that the pilot did end up safe. But 6 people died, and houses were being burned, and people are like losing their house, and like this has just been a traumatic 2 days, right? And the fact that these accidents happened less than 48 hours away from each other is ridiculous to me. And it I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about it except like thoughts, prayers, condolences to all the families that are involved. But we just have to be better. We just have to be better. And we have to be more sensitive to these things, right? There's a lot of people, especially people in power, who aren't very sensitive or receptive to the things that are going on in our world right now. They aren't very welcoming, they aren't very kind, right? They aren't being very um sympathetic or empathetic, right? Whether that comes to the LA fires, right? Whether that comes to the plane crashes, right? Whether that comes to the DEI stuff that's going on, right? Whether that comes to anything, it's a lot of people that aren't being very receptive and very respectful of the things that are happening out in our world, especially our political leaders, right? So I feel like it's our job to highlight the respect, to highlight the things that the media is actually pushing and actually saying, rather than the rhetoric and rather than the craziness and outlandish things that are being said by our political leaders. It's our job as a community to band together and come together as one, to as one community, right? As one steady community, and be together, right? If there was any time where the United States needed community, where we needed community as a people, it's right now. Right now is the time where community is needed. Right now is the time where community outreach is needed. Right now is the time where we should not feel like we have to play, excuse me, we shouldn't feel like we have to play pretend, right? We should just be ourselves, right? We should really be a community. We should really come together as ourselves, as one, to really fight back against the things that are going on, right? And I'm not going to speak too deep on it because it's not a political podcast. I'm not going to go too much in depth into it. Do your own research to find out why I'm talking like this. Do your own research to figure out why I'm thinking this way. Do your own research on all of these things. But I just know for me and the things that I've seen and the things that I've heard and the things that I've read, right? And that's the most important part. Make sure you read, make sure you read, make sure you read, and don't read just on Twitter. Make sure you go on reliable sources to read actual articles, Make sure you're reading, right? So, from the things that I've heard, seen, and read, right, personally on my own, I'm not going to point any fingers, but there is fingers to be pointed. So I believe that right now, us as Americans, it's time to band together and join in community, especially Black people, right? Black people, it's time to put down all the relationship rhetoric conversations. It's time to put down all of the Drake and Kendrick beef conversations. It's time to put down all of these meaningless conversations that we're having and really focus on the greater good, right? Really focus on how us as a community, as a people, as the Black community, how we can come together, band together, and really impact the world, really invoke change, right? I think back to the civil rights movement, specifically the Montgomery bus boycott, excuse me, and I think back to how they didn't just boycott the buses, right? But it was community leaders and people that were dedicated, that had dedicated routes to taking people to certain places, right? So if you live here, Earl's gonna pick you up and take you to work over here. Or if you live there, Cheryl's gonna take you over there. Or if you live here, James is gonna take you. You feel me? It was dedicated people doing dedicated routes, and the community was working together to get people to where they want to be. Like carpooling was like a real thing, right? And then the bus system started seeing a hit in their pockets, in their money, and that's where the real that's where the real thing is, right? When the money's getting played with, that's where the real, we need to figure something out because our money's getting played with, right? We're losing X amount of dollars. So I think that's the important part, right? I think we need to focus on how we can come together, band together as a community to make these people's pockets hurt so they can listen to us. Because it's sad, as sad as it is to say, the only way that they're going to listen to us is Jesus Christ, I can't talk. The only way that they're going to listen to us is if we make their pockets hurt. So we have to make their pockets hurt as much as possible so they can listen to the demands and concerns that we have about our world, about our country, about everything that's going on, right? Because that's the only way they will listen to us. And even then, the chances of them listening to us in full or listening to us like 100%, excuse me, or taking everything that we say into account, slim to none. And I'd rather take my chances not being bothered with that. All right. What do I really want to talk about today, right? So I want to talk about how my balls play with me and how my balls playing with me. Pause. Not like that. Y'all get your mind out the gutter. And my balls like just messing with me, playing around, right? And how that led to a conversation with my concierge today, right? With my front desk lady. Shout out Deborah. I know you listening. So my boss wants me to do a speaking engagement for the department, right, for my school in front of like the incoming students, potential incoming students for my college, right? And she wants me to go on a panel and do the speaking engagement for with a professor from my department. And she wanted me to do 3 days. I can only do one. And the one day that I can do is the day after Valentine's Day. And she told me, well, if you're able to do this day, like I can just find somebody else to do it if you're busy on Valentine's Day, right? And I told her, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be busy on Valentine's Day. Why is she giving me this look? She was like, Eric. I looked at her, I was like, what? She was like, you don't have no plans on Valentine's Day? I was like, no, I don't got plans on Valentine's Day. I'm probably just, I gotta do the radio show. I'm gonna clean the house. I'm probably gonna go grocery shopping, and that's it. That's my Valentine's Day. That's it. I'm gonna sit up here and watch Martin. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. She was like, Eric, we gotta put you out there. Whoa. First of all, Mary, I thought we were gang. I thought we were cool. I thought we were gang. First and foremost, that's number one. First and foremost, first of all, I thought we were gang. Second of all, I don't want to be out there. I don't got time to be out there. I don't got time to be fooling with these young ladies out there. I was about to say something reckless. I don't got time to be fooling with these young ladies out there. I don't got the time for it. I'm too busy with other things. I'm too busy with growing the podcast. I'm too busy with trying to, make the radio show into something bigger than what most people think it can go, right? I'm focused on me bettering myself. I'm focused on my relationship with God. I'm focused on a lot of other things, right? I'm focused on just, making sure I'm healthier. I'm eating healthier. I'm focused on a lot of other things that I'm not really, I'm a girl isn't really going to like feel anything, right? There's no gaps in my schedule to be like, okay, spend this time with girl, or talk to girl then, or talk to a girlfriend now, or talk to a girlfriend here, right? I don't really have time for my schedule right there like that, because the times that I would be spending talking to you, I would much rather do things that I know for a fact I like doing. Like, there's no guarantee that I like talking to you at all, but there's a guarantee that I like watching Martin. There's a guarantee that I like playing the game. There's a guarantee that I like shooting pool. There's a guarantee that I like doing these things. There's no guarantee that I like talking to you or I like speaking to you. So I'd rather do something that that's guaranteed for me to like. So that's number one, right? Um, and secondly, the way relationships are looking nowadays, in the way that the dating pool is now, in the way that options look now today, right? I just would much rather not. I honestly, I just much rather would not. I wouldn't. I don't want to do it. I don't care to do it. I don't. I I much would rather not waste my time. Have somebody waste my time, right? Because I feel like that's basically what this is. It's just a whole bunch of people who don't know how to be alone, who hate being alone, who don't really love themselves, who are harmed and hurt by past relationships or past family traumas, or a whole bunch of different trauma that they're holding on to. So it's a whole bunch of hurt people holding on to hurt, and all they know how to do in retaliation is hurt other people, causing more hurt, causing more people holding on to more hurt, causing more unhealed people, causing more bad relationships, causing more toxicity, causing more people to have abandonment problems, causing more people to not know that it's okay to be alone, not knowing, and people's perspective on being alone and lonely are skewed, right? People think being alone and lonely are the same thing, and it's not, right? You can be alone and not be lonely, right? Or you can be around a whole bunch of people and feel lonely. I've I've done both. I've been in both spots where I felt alone, but where I've been alone, but I didn't feel lonely. I've been alone, but I felt fine. I was like, I'm not lonely. I'm cool. I'm chilling. Excuse me. I go out by myself all the time. I take myself on dates all the time. I go out to restaurants with myself all the time. I went to a Mexican restaurant the other day, fire. I had this Berea burger. It was this Berea burger. Fire. Berea burger was fire. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it was like it was like a tostada on it. It was like the burrito was on a tostada. Then it was like the beef patty on top of that with the bread connected. It was crazy. It was crazy type of. It was a crazy combination. Um, but yeah, so I do that all the time, right? And it's a whole bunch of people who just don't do that, but they think that they're ready to date. They think that they are ready to be a compatible partner. They think that they are ready to do a whole bunch of things, but they haven't checked themselves at the door before wanting to do all of these things, right? And I'm just not for that. I'm not for my time being wasted. I'm not for me wasting another woman's time, because I don't have time to waste. Like, my time is very valuable, and I realize that now, right? I'm at a point in my life right now where my time is very valuable, and and if you want to be a part of my life, if you want to come into my life, you're going to have to value my time. That's a non-negotiable. You are going to have to value my time. You are going to have to come into this relationship valuing the time that I have, the time that I'm giving you, the time that I'm spending on you, right? You're going to have to come into that valuing that, right? And it's a lot of people who don't. It's a lot of women who don't. And I just don't have time to be dealing with the immature. I don't have time to be dealing with I don't want to say unsophisticated, but the unsophisticated, for lack of better words. I just don't have time for none of that, right? So I was ended up talking to my friend Des lady, and she we was talking about something. I don't remember what we was talking about that led us to this conversation, but she said something, and oh, no, I told her about what my boss said to me, and she was like, well, you're not out there looking. And I told her, well, I don't really got time, and da 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 da, right? And she said, she brought up marriage, right? I don't know how marriage got brought up into the conversation, but she brought up marriage, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to get married. And she was like, oh, you don't, like, you mean you don't want to have like the big elaborate wedding? And I was like, oh, no, if I get married, it's going to be a big elaborate wedding. Like, you only get married. If I get married, I'm only gonna get married one time. I'm not going to divorce then remarry. I'm not doing all that. But so if I ever get married, it's gonna be to one person, one time, and it's going to be a huge, elaborate, big ass wedding, right? Not thinking about the budget. The money's going to be fine. It's going to be taken care of. Not thinking about like, oh, how much is going to cost. I'm not thinking about none of that. I just know I'm going to have a huge, big wedding if I do have a wedding. But for the most part, I don't want to get married. And it's not because I don't want to have a wedding or I don't want to do the elaborate thing or I want to elope or whatever the case may be. Nah, I just don't want to. Like, I just don't think the commitment that it takes for marriage and the commitment that I'm willing to put into a person now, just in again, this is 19-year-old Eric brain speaking, right? The commitment that it takes to marry a person and the commitment that it takes for me to yeah, it just takes too much commitment, right? It just takes too much. Like, I have to do too much. I have to sacrifice too much, right? And a relationship is big on sacrifices. And a lot of people don't want to sacrifice. A lot of people hop in these relationships and don't want to sacrifice anything, right? I know I'm wise enough, right? I know that I've just been around enough people in relationships to know that, listen, if you're in a relationship, especially a serious relationship, you're going to have to give up something. You're going to have to sacrifice time. You're going to have to sacrifice money. You're going to have to sacrifice a whole bunch of different things, right? But me personally, I don't want to. And I'm okay with saying that. I don't want to sacrifice anything. I don't want to give up anything. I don't want to sacrifice time. I don't want to sacrifice means. I don't want to sacrifice money. Also, I feel like most relationships now are just bills. That's just an added expense, and that's all it is. All it is an added expense. Isn't I'm not You're not really gaining nothing from it. You're not really obtaining nothing from it. You're not learning nothing from it. You're not developing anything together. You're not changing each other's lives in a positive way. You're not bringing nobody closer to God. You're not bringing nobody closer to their dreams or goals. You're not doing nothing. You're just being a bill. You just want a free meal and to go out. You just want to go out, get your hair done, get your nails done, get free food. You're a bill. You're a liability at that point. And I'm in a space in my life where I need to cut off every liability that I can. So if you're just a liability, which most relationships that I see personally are, then no, why would I do that, right? And then marriage, right? That's the biggest sacrifice, right? Because then, say I get married to a woman, she one if I get married, a prenup is going to have to be signed. If I get married, a prenup is going to have to be signed for sure, 100%. If I get married, a prenup is 100% going to have to be signed, 100%. That's number one, right? Number two, if you decide not to sign a prenup, I just won't marry you. That's simple as fact. That's simple, right? Number three, I'm not going to be out here a man who didn't sign a prenup and we get divorced and you leave with half of everything. I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not no, cuz you didn't build half of this. You didn't build half of anything that I built. So you're not going to leave with half of what I have, right? Yeah, I just don't like the I don't know. I just don't I've just never been a marriage guy. I've never been a kids guy. But my front desk lady, she was very shocked by this. She was like, Eric, this is like a new version of Eric that I didn't know existed. Like, really? Like, you really think this way? And I had to explain to her, like, yeah, like I really think this way. Like, I it's just the things that I value now, which I value helping people and being of service to people, right? And I really value that. And I feel like the pod is helping people and being of service to people, right? Not just saying that because it's my pod, but just from feedback that I've been getting, right? And from the things that I've been saying to people and being like, oh, you know what? I say this on the pod all the time, and I'm just saying what I say on the pod in real life. All of that stuff, right? So I know the pod can and will help people. So me building that to help as many people as I can, that's more important to me right now than any type of relationship, any kids, anything, right? Making sure millions of people's lives are saved and changed because they now believe in themselves to create art and to make art and to do the things that they never thought that they could do because nobody told them that they could, or nobody gave them the encouragement or the wisdom or nothing, right? To make sure that they are grounded in what, they should be grounded in as an artist. But I'm able to plant that seed. If I can do that, that's more important to me than any relationship, than any marriage, than anything, right? That's way more important to me. So I'd much rather do that. And I'd much rather focus on that. But my front desk lady didn't understand that. And she was like, yo, you're bugging out. And I was like, nah, like, it is what it is. Like real talk. Like, it is what it is. Like, I don't think I'm bugging out. I think what do y'all think? What do y'all think? I don't think I'm bugging out. I think I'm being very reasonable right now, especially right now. Right now in my life. You gotta think, like, again, I'm young. I'm young. These thoughts can change. Will they change? I don't know. But they can change, and I'm open to my thoughts changing. And who knows? I might meet the one. I might meet the one tomorrow. I might meet the one next week. I might meet the one in a month. I might meet the one in a year. Or my one died in a car accident or something. I don't know. Who knows? Who really knows where my one is at this moment? But I know one thing. As of right now, I'm stinkless. I'm boolless. I'm bayless. I'm nothing. I'm girlfriendless. I don't have nothing. So, Stink, if you are interested, don't hit me up in the DMs. I'm not gonna lie, you're wasting your time. All right, last thing on the docket, what we're gonna talk about, this TDE thing. Dun dun dun. All right, so two women have sued Top Dog Entertainment executives and employees alleging sexual harassment and assault. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning to anybody that is sensitive to this. Excuse me. Just press the 10-second skip thing and we'll get there for you. All right. The lawsuit claims TDE management turned a blind eye to the allegations and describes a pervasive culture of sexual. I'm sorry, guys. I'm half asleep right now. All right. The lawsuit claims TDE management turned a blind eye to the allegations and describes a pervasive culture of sexual harassment within TDE, implicating some of the highest ranking executives. The first plaintiff, who joined TDE in 2019, accuses CMO Brandon Tiffith, if that's how you name Brandon Tiffith, of unwanted sexual advances and battery, while alleging while alleging a pattern of ongoing sexual harassment by TDE co-president Anthony Musa Tiffith Jr., who is the son of TDE's founder. Uh oh. I didn't know Top's last name was Tiffith. Uh oh. This has gotten interesting. The second plaintiff claims multiple instances of sexual harassment and assault by TDE employees on company property. She also describes an incident where she was allegedly coerced into consuming alcohol while underage for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Now, I number one, because the same thing is happening to Ravens kicker Justin Tucker right now, and I feel like there's a very important lesson that everybody in the entertainment industry, in rap, in sports, in film, and everything can learn right now in this moment. So everybody huddle up and listen to this message. Keep your damn hands to yourself. Keep your hands. Stop touching niggas with your hands. That's how diseases get spread and shit. That's how COVID happened. Stop touching niggas with your hands. Stop touching people. Stop it. I was at my man Mickey house today, right? I stopped saying my man, pause, because that's crazy. I was at my friend Mickey house today, right? And he introduced me to some of his neighbors. And guess what I did? Gave him the handshake. I didn't go in for the hug until the neighbors told me it's okay. Oh, you can go in for the hug. His neighbors were women, by the way. And until his neighbors told me, oh, you know what? Come in for the hug. Then hug. But handshake. I keep my hands to my damn self. I'm a hugger. I like hugs, but not everybody's a hugger. So you know what is good mutual ground for people who are not huggers? A good handshake. Handshake. I'm cool with a nice little handshake. You niggas do go from handshake to putting your hand where it shouldn't be shaking. You jump multiple steps, brothers, and you need to keep your damn hands to yourselves. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong with the world today. Yeah, everybody just want to touch shit. Stop touching shit. I just want to touch everything. Stop. Leave it alone. Stop. Next thing that I want to say about this is to these ladies who, because I think it's two women. Yes, it's two women. And the lawsuit is Jane Doe and Jane Roe, I think. That's not their names, but that sounds like their names are labeled. To these ladies, my thoughts and prayers are with you right during this time. I know this is a hard time and a tough time for you. Coming out about sexual assault is not something to take lightly. It's not something to joke about or play about. It's not something that we should laugh about, right? These are women who are actually struggling. These are women who are really just trying to take it day by day and being able to openly talk about this in their business being now mainstream media, and their business now being posted everywhere, right? And you can see think pieces of this whole thing, right? I salute you ladies for your bravery, and technically my prayers are with you, two young ladies. Last thing, the main thing I want to talk about though is the internet, right? The internet is so evil, sick, and twisted, and I've noticed that for these past couple of days. The more I be on social media now, the more I realize I don't need to be on social media. At first, I'd just be like scroll, but now I realize I really don't need to be on here, and I catch myself if I feel like I'm on Twitter or Instagram too long. I catch myself. I'll be like, I really don't need to be on here. The only app that I'm on there for an excessive amount of time is TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, I'm an avid TikToker. I'm on there for TikTok is definitely my most used app for sure. TikTok is definitely my most used app. But Twitter and Instagram, I'll be on there for a couple seconds. I see something that I don't like, and I'm immediately off now. I'm just not going to be here to entertain all of these things. However, you all are crazy. You all are crazy. Listen, I don't like that y'all are bringing in people who weren't put into the lawsuit into this lawsuit. Y'all are bringing artists, TDE artists who are either currently signed or previously signed into these arguments when, from what I've read, didn't say anything about the TDE artist. It says TDE executives and employees. Those are two different things from TDE artist. If you are an artist, are you technically an employee? Sure, but you're an artist. You're not, yeah, you're an artist. You're an artist. You're not getting paid salary. An employee is getting paid salary at TDE or getting paid hourly, whatever. The artist is not. So no. No, 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 no. This is way different, right? Secondly, what I find interesting is TDE, most of TDE, just spent a whole summer. They not like us, certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Y'all just give us a whole summer full of that. Well, where is that about to go? What's about to happen with that? Right? Wop. Who's going to be whopping? I don't know. I want to whop. But y'all, listen, y'all over here with these claims, and y'all just spent a whole summer, not like us, and then dancing to a whole song about a guy being a pedophile. But y'all got two men that are, listen, there is no case on Drake that I know of for him being a pedophile. But there is a case on you niggas. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. There is a case on you niggas. So the fact that y'all are sitting here and trying to make this a Drake and Kendrick thing, or trying to make this a war thing, or trying to make this a whole other thing than what it is, no, it's not that. It's not that. This is a nasty thing. This is a nasty thing. This is a thing where, like, bro, you're consuming alcohol while underage for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Really, bro? Really? That's what y'all doing? And again, y'all are a part of TDE. Y'all have some of the top artists in the world. Y'all have some of and I know TDE and you being Top Son, this being Top's family, I know y'all not losing out on a couple dollars. Man, go ahead, man. If you don't go hit that little strip club and go to the back room and, work some magic, or if you don't go, man, if you don't go on somewhere, where adults are, y'all are inviting minors to parties and having them drink. If y'all don't go on somewhere with that, what is y'all are bugging out. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all are bugging out. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. These young ladies, I don't know young ladies because I don't know them, but women came out saying that they were sexually assaulted. What? Yo. Breaking news live. Luka Doncic. I don't even talk about basketball on here, but Luka Doncic was just traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie in a first round pick. I don't know how I feel about. Yo, what? Yo, the Lakers trade Anthony Davis for Luka. They basically traded Anthony Davis for another LeBron. No way. The Dallas Mavericks trade Luka for, no way. What? What? Nah, that's wild. That's wow. That's wow. That's interesting. This isn't a sports page, but that's wow. That's interesting. On that note, thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of our Spot Podcast. Listen, again, I don't really have much to say about that TDE thing. Again, prayers and thoughts to those young ladies. TDE, you can't spend the whole summer talking about certified lover boy, certified pedophile if there's holes in your camp. You can't do that. And not saying that y'all created the record, but y'all was damn sure dancing and jollying and y'all was all up in the video. Y'all was all up in the videos and yeah. You can't do that. You can't do that. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the ASMR pod. Dead or alive. If this is your first time watching the Art Supply podcast, hello. If this is your last time watching the Art Supply podcast, goodbye. But Dead or Alive is a segment on the podcast that we do that me or the artist gets to choose other artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now we can choose one artist, we can choose 100 artists. This is my pod. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Since basketball is heavy on my brain right now, I'm gonna choose Jello. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa, hold on, tiger, and then I let that go. I'm gonna choose Jello. He's been killing. He's been killing. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the Art Supply Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. You can tune into I need to go to bed. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Art Supply Podcast. If you are looking at this on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. Remember that artists never die. Remember that God loves you. I love you. Do something that you love every single day. Do it with meaning, do it with purpose, do it with passion, do it well. I will see y'all when I see y'all, boys. Peace.